Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, BRANDIJENAE. And we back with another episode or another video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, like this video, and hit the bell notification so you can be notified when I go live or when I upload a new video, okay? So today, you can tell from my background, we are talking about basketball wives, okay? That's what we're talking about. We talking about basketball wives. Listen, y'all, I got way too much energy. But I wanted to jump on really quick, go through this basketball wives recap, review, right before Mother's Day. So let me send a happy Mother's Day to all the moms who are entering the chat. If you are here live with me, happy Mother's Day. And if you are watching this on the replay, happy Mother's Day to you. Happy belated Mother's Day if it is after Mother's Day. I hope you enjoyed your day. All right, with that being said, let's get into it. Have y'all been watching Basketball Wives? So, we got a new cast. Well, let me rephrase that. We have, I think it's 3 new additions to the cast, right? So we have Ming Lee, Chantel, which is Jackie's daughter, and I guess Brittany would be considered new, even though she was here last season. All right. So the episode opens up with Jennifer and Christian in Atlanta, basically getting prepared to turn himself in to finish out his 15 days of his 70. Well, excuse me. I think the punishment was 15 days, and he had to serve 2 days prior to the wedding. He did get permission, of course, they're married, to go to Paris, but he had to serve 2 days prior to, and then when they came back, he had to serve 13 days following. So the episode opens up with them getting ready for that, kind of discussing what happened. So he just really details how he violated his probation by going over to Paris and to help to plan the wedding, not for the wedding, but they went over there to do some planning. And he says he reached out, he applied. Anybody on probation should know they're not allowed to leave the state without permission. That's it. It's not for a day, not for anything. And I feel like, yeah, while it's an inconvenience, that's the exact point of being on probation, to inconvenience you to the fact that what you don't repeat what it is you did. If they just came to your beck and call just because you applied and you said something, like, what would that do? Even the fact that you got 15 days for violating your probation, like, you should thank your lucky stars. I mean, if that's the punishment for the violation, I guess everybody should just go ahead. Last I checked, you had to serve out the rest of your time. So I don't know. Christian clearly got some type of something. Good lawyer, good money flow. But we're gonna get into that, okay? Because they coming for it. All right. So anyway, when they got back, he had to do his 15 days. Jen is getting ready to drop him off. And this is what I have to say about that. Like, Jen, this is not even a red flag. Like, this is a freaking stop sign. Like, a whole stop sign, bright red with the words stop. Like, you can't even read. And I'm saying that to say, how is it that you waited all this time after that horrible marriage you got yourself out of? You waited all this time to marry somebody who you got to drop off and go serve 2 weeks, even if it is 2 weeks. I mean, you literally waited all this time and was so thoughtful and careful and, picky about who you chose, and not looking at the circumstances of what you chose. Like, you can't be surprised that this man is facing these fraud charges and things like that. Like, he is already a criminal. And what they say for false imprisonment, I think, is what the this probation, the charge that this probation stems from. Now, we ain't no Christian, from the man in the moon, and still don't. He just showed up on our TV screens in 2024. And so here we are in 2025 discussing this man. So I don't have any idea what the details about that case is. And I'm not curious to go find out. False imprisonment is enough. Like, just sounds like you doing stuff you ain't got no business doing, period. Like, and that's already given to you, Jen. So again, these are not red flags. This is a stop sign. But I mean, I guess you done already planned this wedding over in Paris. So I guess you're just gonna put the blinders on, honey, put your seatbelt on, and buckle up and go for the ride, because here we are. Okay. I did note this in that segment too. I said, Jen just has an issue with her picker. And I think a lot of us women maybe sometimes go through that, in that if you're single and dating, and especially if you're over 40, maybe circumstances, maybe loneliness, maybe being older, maybe the fear of growing old alone. Maybe these are the things that like steer your picker wrong. But yeah, I would not. It would. You might as well have let that man go to jail and just married him in the prison, and then just applied, or kind of what Sonny say they did. They went ahead, they broke their probation. Sonny Moses had to go back to jail, and so they just got married. He went back to jail, and they gonna do their stuff, when he get out. And I feel like maybe that's the route Jen should have went. Jen should have been like, go and break your probation so we can go over here to Paris and see it, and go and serve them 15 days, and we'll postpone this until when you get out. Because at the very, it almost feel like a pop the balloon, or let the air out the balloon. Like, I hate that. That's a term I use a lot. Like, I hate for people to take the air out of my balloon. That means you a Debbie Downer. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, it's kind of like to go to Paris, go get married, and then when you get back home, you have to drop him off for 2 weeks to go serve time in prison. That's not the fairy tale. Did she dream that? Like, that can't be the fairy tale you had in mind. And I just don't understand why again, maybe the ball just went too far. Or, like I said, I think it's one or two things. This is my thought also about Jen. And listen, I'm going to say low self-esteem. But even as I say that, I know that Jen does not present that she has any type of issue with her self-esteem. But I've told y'all this before in other videos. Self-esteem is not just about down talking yourself or doing things like that, but it's also about the decisions you make, right? When you make decisions that don't seem that smart, it kind of questions why you're making that decision. And then going to the second part, what I think is more apt in this situation with Jen and Christian is that Jen wants a lifestyle. She is committed to that lifestyle, and she wants somebody else who wants the lifestyle and is committed to that lifestyle. I just don't think she understood that when you ask for that to come to you, that could be by any means necessary, and that means they probably might be doing some illegal stuff because you're putting a lot of pressure on their head so they can stay with you. Okay, done with that. The next thing, we check in with Jackie and her daughter. So Chantel is what Jackie called her. She is in LA. She got a brand new baby boy, and she is newly married. Now, I don't know if the girl really married. I'm gonna guess that she is, because I would assume Jackie probably would say something. So she's newly married to a basketball player that plays for Charlotte Hornets. I haven't said that team in a long time. How they doing, by the way? Drop down in the comments and let me know. Is that a good team? I think when I was in high school they was, but I haven't heard their name in a long time. Anyway, that's who her husband played for. She's moving to LA because she wants to get the baby into some modeling. And so she lives in the same building with Jackie. Now, here's the interesting thing about Chantel and Jackie. They previously, when Laura Govan was on in the past, she was bringing up these issues that Jackie has with her two oldest girls, Chantel being one of them. It seems like they have worked out some kinks because, I mean, that's their mama. It is what it is. I feel like kids, speaking of being the day before Mother's Day, but I feel like kids and parents have two different perspectives, right? I don't know Jackie from a can of paint. I know the girl has insinuated, and we know Jackie is a little cuckoo. So I guess from that we can kind of take it and say maybe the girl got a point, right? But at the same time, my point in general is that I think kids have a different perspective than parents. And usually, I think when a kid becomes a parent, maybe they can allow their parent more grace at that moment because now you can look at things from a parent's perspective and not just a child's perspective. And that's just that because I think for to me, that's what it always sounds like the issue between her and her daughter is. But maybe her daughter just expected her to be with them. I think she did say that though. Expected her to be with the kids and not on the road at every basketball game and in the locker room checking behind Doug Christie. All right, and planning a doggone wedding every year. Maybe like with those two things that I just named, I think that that does kind of it does kind of say like Jackie probably wasn't that present as far as the children go. Because again, you basically were traveling with Doug while he was playing basketball, like you was playing basketball. And all you was doing was a professional seat holder while you had these kids. So you know, again, I get it. Those two things I named, yeah, your adult children are going to have an issue with you, but it's good to see them kind of work it out. Chantel say I need some coin. So let me go ahead, let my mama get me on this show, and let me get it started. But so while we see them together at the home, Jackie just kind of asks Chantel if she can have a key. Chantel's like, no, you know, Jackie goes and be all extra. And I think also with Chantel, it seems like she wants to set a boundaries with Jackie. So what she did say in her confessional was that Jackie is very controlling. She has to control every aspect. Again, I think that's a parent thing, but I feel like Jackie probably went overboard. She might have a point. And so with that being said, she doesn't want to give her a key. I'm okay with that. What do y'all think about that situation? Drop down in the comments and let me know. But just off that alone, I'm okay with the girl not wanting to give her mom a key. I think that's a decision that you make as a person who renting or owning your place. I don't think that just because somebody has a particular relationship with you, that entitles them to access your home. And especially if they are somebody, mother or not, that will just override, you know, a courtesy. Because, like for me, instance, I've had my aunt's key, I've had my mom's key, and my son has a key to my home. But one thing I'm gonna do, and my son does it as well. He doesn't just pop up at my house and put the key in the door. We know that he's coming, you know, or if we don't know that he's coming, he's going to knock. He has the key in case he needs it for an emergency and in case somebody is not here and he needs to get in. But when you don't live in a house and you don't pay any bills in the house, yeah, you don't have unlimited access to come in and out of the house. So I get it, you know, and I'm okay with that. I don't think she is overstepping, being rude, disrespectful, or any of that. Of course, Jackie disagrees, but she's gonna have to respect her daughter on this. After that, Evelyn, we see Evelyn. She's just talking about being a grandma. She says she can't believe how did she become the gang's son's grandmother. It ain't that hard for me to circle the degrees of separation from that. But anyway, because I ain't saying she groomed her daughter to do a damn thing. I'm just saying kids kind of do what they see. And that's that. That's all I'm gonna say. All right. What else? Well, look, what else is in my notes about this about this meeting? Evelyn. Oh, so Evelyn and Jackie meet up at the baby boutique. So that's where we meeting at with Evelyn and catching up with her. They both discuss having new grandbabies, which is so cute. Because even which you know it, even for me now, that's kind of the season me and my peers are in, the people that I went to high school with. Like, funny enough, we all kind of had kids around the same age. And so now all our children have become adults or are in the process of becoming adults. And, you know, some of us, not myself, but some of us have become grandmothers. And I think that's kind of cute, right? You get to share those parts of life with somebody that you've been knowing for so long. So cute. Then Jackie discusses wanting to get everybody together and have like a friends giving, given the opportunity, giving Evelyn the opportunity to start discussing her issues with Jen. So she said Jen is basically not speaking to her. She wasn't really sure what was up, but she don't like Christian. She knows she did some interviews about Christian, and she had a whole lot more to say. Y'all gonna have to go watch the episode because I cannot regurgitate it, or could I write it down fast enough in my notes? But she basically, of course, she thinks Christian is a fraud. He's stealing people money, and she thinks Jennifer is dumb as f, dumb as fuck. Okay. And she said this on an interview that Jen was able to hear or see. And the problem is this. I think Evelyn has the same issue Dr. Heavenly have. She knows that she's on this show. She knows that there are things she needs to kind of do, you know, to kind of keep the show interesting. But here's the problem. This is your good girlfriend of 20 years. How do you think you can go on any public platform and tell perfect strangers that your friend of 20 years is fucking dumb as fuck? Like, and then your friend's supposed to call you on the phone and we supposed to kiki about your new grandbaby and what you finna go buy him? No, ma'am. Especially when this girl, if you watch the episode, just gonna point this out, this is toward the end, but when you watch the episode, when you see Jen and Christian get back together after she has to go pick her man up from the jail, honey, after they just got married, she should feel crazy even having that be something. And I guess now that it's over, she probably done pushed it so far out of her mind that it's just a mirage. This is something that is made up for the show in her own mind. But that, like, girl, that's mind blowing. Because ain't no way I get to my 50s and I'm going to pick a joker up from the doggone jail. Ain't no way. No, no, sir. I'm gonna need people to get it together. I am not built for that life. 20s, you get one shot. 50s, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Especially if we wasn't married before, because I'm not saying bail on them, but I'm saying, like I told y'all at the top, that's not a red flag. This was a stop sign. That man breaking his probation to go over to Paris was a direct stop sign, because that means he don't give a F about nothing. Anyway, so yeah, so I don't understand what Evelyn would really expect from Jennifer outside to get an attitude. And then you talking about her husband too, her new husband, that she is like this. And like Jackie gonna tell Evelyn at the end of the episode, like, Jen is gonna pick her man, like most women do. Now, y'all drop down in the comments and let me know, because I know maybe most of us haven't been through a situation where the man has been a fraud in the sense of he's stealing people money. But maybe we've known women who've gotten with men and maybe their men not that great, and we can see it, right? Let me know if do you get in the middle of that with your friend? Do you have conversation with your friend? Do you give her tough love? Or are you the type of friend that is going to be there for your friend? I think in life as humans, and not that I'm not, when I care about you, I'm going to tell you the truth, right? But what I understand is grown adults, we get to make our own decisions. And that's that. You know what I mean? Don't nobody, when you get to the age in which they are walking around on this earth, don't nobody get to come and tell you how to do your life. Don't nobody get to do that, Evelyn, you know? And while you may not like it, as a friend, Like, are you the friend that's gonna be there for your friend? I'm that type of friend. Now, what I will say is there's a limit to how much I'm gonna be around for certain stuff, you know. But listen, if your situation is what it is, it's in your household and you are okay with dealing with it, cool. What we not gonna do, now let's be clear. What we not gonna do is have the conversation discussing it. You're not gonna come and act like you don't know. You're not gonna come and act like you distraught about certain things. Like that's what we're not gonna do. Once we done kind of got all of that out the way, then we're just not gonna talk about that part no more. That part of your life, in a sense. Like if you need to vent, cool. But I don't have no advice for you. And yeah, you just venting at this point because clearly you're gonna stay. And I don't know why Evelyn don't know that. But again, I think Evelyn is being performative with a little bit of truth. Okay. You just made up with this girl. I don't know what would possess her to do that to her. But I guess she's still mad at Jen and didn't want to admit it. That I think that's the only thing I can think of, honestly, because that's crazy for you to go on somebody's interview show and say your former best friend, the one you just made up with, whatever it is dumb as fuck. Even if you thinking it in your head. Everybody else can think it in their head, but it ain't finna come out of my mouth. Not about my friend, my good friend. Anyway, the next scene is Jen and Brandy. So they meet up, look like on like a rooftop or something. Brandy confirms she is separated from her husband. Now let's just take a pause right there. Let's just take a pause right there. All I can say about her being separated from what's that man's name? I can't even remember his name. Um, it's good for you, girl, because he's certainly been separated all this time. So I am glad you put down the mustard and catch up because you've been needed to be separated from this man. Now, I'm saying that she needs to divorce him. I remember I listened to a little bit of Funky Dineva's review, I don't know, a few days ago. And he was funny because he was saying, look, at this point, you might as well stay married to the man. You didn't invest in this. And yeah, go ahead and live y'all separate lives. And I have to say, I do agree with that. Again, she's allowed to make her own choices. So I'm not even saying like what it should be and this and that. You done been in this relationship long enough. So ain't nobody got to really come and tell you what you don't deserve. And you know what I mean? Like, honey, that's a broken record. And you should have it, like it should be a broken record in your own brain. So the fact that you are still there and it took you to 2025 to be separated, I agree. Just stay separated, unless the man start wilding out like Cal's husband Mauricio is doing. Like he starts popping up in airports, kissing girls and stuff. Now that might be a problem. That might be a small little problem that happened with Papoose and Remy Ma, right? They was gonna keep their stuff on the down low, like, look, because it ain't nobody business. And maybe y'all, when you got money, businesses, and stuff like that all mixed together, some people just think it costs too much, like, and so they like, let's just keep it like this, whatever. But when you start showing up, popping up, doing these extra things, ain't nobody here for that. And you fucking up the flow. So, so like, get it together. I think that's how people get divorced or going ahead and filing for divorce after they've stayed separated that amount of time. So anyhow, they let me see. Brandy checks in with Jen about Christian having to turn himself in and go to jail. Jen says she is blessed, honey. She's doing good. She's newly married. Like she is all in the fields. Again, Jen, delusional. How are you all in? How you blessed and you feeling so good? And look, I guess her and Brandy not that good of friends because you can't be. You just got married and you going to sleep by yourself every day. And this man, he not in nobody's service. He didn't get deployed somewhere in which he didn't have a decision about where he's going. Now, I guess when you get sentenced to jail, you don't have a decision about that either. But my point is, he violated his own probation. So that was the decision that he made. Again, stop sign, Jen. So now you spending the first 3 weeks of your wedding alone, your marriage alone with no husband. But you blessed, girl. God, hear me right now. When I'm praying for my husband, if I forget to leave out, please don't have him have any pending probation going on. Take this as that prayer. Just file it in the file system with the rest of my prayers that I do not want a convicted felon, and I do not want somebody who would willingly violate anything so that they can go and plan something as frivolous as a wedding. I want somebody who is very much more responsible than that. Jen, how do you expect this man to come and take care of you? He's not even taking care of his own well-being. See, stop sign. That's a stop sign. That is not a red flag. And you are in your 50s. Let me go back. See, every time I think about it, it just kind of be like, girl, what is wrong with you? But she just want to be in love. She want to be in love, or she is just addicted to this lifestyle and he is providing it, and she is just like, I don't give a doggone because this feel good because everybody else been scamming her ass. I get it. That's probably what it is. Poor Jen. I just feel bad. I feel bad for her about that. But anyway, she tell Brandy she blessed, honey. She is blessed. And so Brandy feels Brandy feels Jen in on how Evelyn is feeling. Right. Let's back that up. Brandy is telling Jen how Evelyn feels, which would indicate that Brandy and Evelyn are having not just conversation, but personal conversations about her friendship with Jen. Yes, Evelyn and Brandy, the two who have been head to head the whole time they've been on this show. Yes, this is the one who is sitting with Jen and explaining Evelyn's feeling. Baby, Evelyn been running them girls since Basketball Wives been on the air. Whether it's LA and girl, I gotta tell y'all about Jackie Christie's interview with Carlos King. As a matter of fact, we're gonna watch it together and we're gonna commentate on it. I'm a commentary on it because Jackie Christie is one delusional lady, honey. Well, who's more delusional? Drop that down in the comments. Let me put that up because I'm gonna have to make a post about that. Let's talk about this. Basketball Wives. Who is more delusional? Jackie Christie or Jennifer? What is her last name? Williams? Gold. That is gold now. The irony about what I just said about her, honey. She is addicted. Oh my God, she is addicted. Okay, so right. Who is more delusional? Jackie Christie or Jennifer Gold? Jennifer Williams, now Gold. Okay. I don't know. I'm gonna need y'all to chime in and let me know. Now, while I'm saying that, take a moment to make sure you have liked this video and make sure you have subscribed to my channel if you have not already. If you have, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hit the bell notification so you can be notified when another video is uploaded or when I go live. Okay, let's get back into Basketball Wives. So again, and Jen had to basically tell her that, like, this is strange. You telling me how Evelyn feels. Like, since when y'all talking that? Jen didn't say that, but we all thinking it. Of course, we know it's for the show. And again, Evelyn run the girls, and Brandy is just happy to be there. So she has been wanting to be Evelyn's friend since she has come on. And so fine, good. She is separated from her husband. Evelyn is her friend. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Brandy has all she has wanted while she's been on this show. But at the same time, Jen just kind of tells her that that she heard some stuff Evelyn had to say in an interview, and she thought it was whack, and she didn't want to have nothing to do with her. So now we get cut to Evelyn. Coincidence? Truth? I don't know. But Evelyn films a scene in which she is video chatting with the lady who is Carl's cousin. Carl is her baby daddy, basically. So it's his cousin, and the cousin is basically excuse me, y'all, telling her about how she gave Christian $1,500 to invest for her, and she hasn't gotten her money back. She's detailing some of the things he said, like, oh, he told me to go buy Bitcoin. I remember that because it kind of sparked my ear. Here's why: because I'm watching Love Hotel, right, with Giselle, Luann, Shannon, and Ashley. Go look at those reviews if you haven't already. But this last episode of Love Hotel, Ashley was having a conversation with one of her prospects named Nick, and so she was asking him what he did. He told her that he was into digital currency. I guess he trades Bitcoin. So he had given her a piece of advice, and I guess now I'm giving it to y'all, because if you got $58,000 sitting around, it sounds like a good idea to do. I just ain't got it. But he had told Ashley that if she could do anything, even though she didn't know anything about Bitcoin and how to trade it, he said, if you can do anything, at least get one bit. I guess that's what they call, yeah, because I don't know nothing about it either. And so she said, well, how much is that to do one Bitcoin? He said $58,000. So I'm only bringing that up because I thought 1,500. It seemed like, like, and so the lady did mention that Christian, like she said, told her to go on Cash App and purchase Bitcoin. So then my man started twirling, the wheels started twirling. And I'm thinking maybe Christian is in this really kind of like this space in which he might be teetering a line that kind of can go across breaking the law, but maybe in theory he feels like he's not. So what I mean is maybe he is advising people about how to do things as opposed to being an actual trader. But maybe he is trading also, which that would be a problem if he is a felon. And it just is. You cannot be a felon and handle people's money. That's period. That is period. You cannot. And wait till we get to the end of this so you can hear what Christian had to say about that part. Anyhow, I thought the note I have after this scene is that this seems like a reach. Now listen, don't take advantage of me, and I don't give a damn if it's $5 or $1,500. Whatever it is I have, I work hard for it, and don't play with me about it. With that being said, it does feel like 1,500 is kind of like this scraping the barrel. They just literally had a wedding that's in Paris. I don't know how now maybe I'm tripping, because maybe we only see one person saying $1,500, but maybe it's 50 more people behind her with $1,500, because that's the point. If it's one of her, and let's say it's 50 or 100 more, $1,500, a piece. Yeah, you didn't scam these people out their money. 1,500 and one person naming the 1,500 sounds like a low ball. But like I said, what I understand and I'm okay with coming from this lady, if it's all true, and it seemed like it is, because Evelyn printed out the information so she could go take it to Jen. And I feel like I'm gonna give Evelyn that much. As messy as she is, I do feel like she's gonna have her receipts in line, right? So I believe this lady. She hasn't been able to get her $1,500 back. And like I say, even I minimized it at the top. You just heard me, but now as I'm talking, I'm kind of what Dr. Heavenly say. I'm taking it back, because, like I said, I work hard for my money, and I don't want nobody to take advantage of it. I don't want nobody to play with it. If you play with it, you gonna piss me off. We might done. Because I work too hard for my little twos and fews. Okay. And if they were more than that, whatever it is, I work too hard for it. So don't mess me around about it. And so with that being said, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it on her end. And I guess you reach out to whoever you could. to help you do it. You know, this man is on TV. But the lady, what made me say this is a reach, the lady started talking about how they seeing them run around in his cars. They got a Rolls Royce and this and that. And again, I did that. I minimized that 1,500 because I'm thinking like you can't possibly think he done flipped your 1,500 into getting him a Rolls Royce. But just as I just said it. If he got 100 more people that gave him $1,500, put them zeros on there. You know what that is. So yeah, sounds like he might be. And again, the stop sign was already there for Jen. So I'm gonna feel bad for Jen because I just feel like she is just in oblivion. But whatever consequence comes behind her standing 10 toes down with Christian, it's just going to be the consequence, and it's just going to be something she's going to have to see her way through. And we're not going to like hold her hand through it. You 50 years old, girl, you know better. You should. If you don't, and that's what I mean. After that husband of hers, I don't understand. I don't understand. Because if you don't know anything, you know what the hell you don't want. Anyway, let's move on. So that was the end of that scene. Then we go to Brittany. Of course, they start off with her being in the mosque, but they end up at dinner or lunch, her and Jackie. Jackie is inviting her to the Friendsgiving because, of course, everybody got to get there. And Brittany kind of gets the opportunity at that time to fill Jackie in on the issue she's having with Evelyn. So she's upset with Evelyn, and guess what? For Evelyn running her damn mouth, okay, on an interview. So she is upset. I think Evelyn said something like Brittany was unprofessional, and like the way she left the show, and a few other little things. Whatever it was, Brittany got an attitude. I kind of looked at that as like Evelyn is like the Nene. Whether we again, we're going to talk about Jackie Christie's interview with Carlos King because she is all in that interview proclaiming herself as the face of Basketball Wives and kind of like the glue and the matriarch. And it's like, girl, who told you that? Because you are not. And while Jackie is a staple like in Basketball Wives, the show, but Evelyn is the face, just like Nene is for Housewives of Atlanta. Housewives of New Jersey, Teresa Giudice, Housewives of Orange County, Vicky Goberson, and now Tamara Judge, you know, because Vicky's not on. Like it just is, and Evelyn is that. And so I feel like it's easy for people to come and just have a problem with Evelyn because she's gonna bring the smoke too. You know what I'm saying? So if you're trying to get if you're trying to get another season, if you're trying to, you know, get in, I think the smart thing to do is to try to get Evelyn activated because that's probably going to get you back. Now, it didn't work out that well for OG, but that's because OG did go a little bit far. Maybe she wasn't wrong with how she was feeling, but I think she was wrong with as far as she took it. However, let me just slide this in here. I meant to post this post on my post tab, but this a little exclusive from me going down the IG. I happened to see Tammy comment on one of the bloggers' posts they were posting a preview of Basketball Wives, and Tammy kind of posted and tagged OG and said a little birdie had told her there might be a spot open for her to come back. And so OG was like, oh, you know, like I'm already on it or something like that. So I don't know. It could be possible that OG is kind of trying to find her way back into Basketball Wives. If you ask me, it's a no. I did not dislike OG, but I don't think she fits in. And I don't necessarily like a cast member that comes into the cast and they make it their business to bring strife and discord in a group you just got here. Like, I don't understand how people do that, but thirsty, I guess. Anyway, so that's her issue with Evelyn. So now we go on and we get to see Ming Lee. Ming Lee is now the former girlfriend of Tai Young, but they still on here. And I guess they was broken up while they was filming, but here we are. And so her and Jen meet up for lunch. Jen was saying she knows Ming Lee from Atlanta. Now, this is Jen being authentic and honest. She's like, listen, I can't say we really hang out and we that close. She like, but I know of her, and since she's moving to LA, like I'm gonna usher her in. Makes sense. Jen is in LA, so is Atlanta, so is Ming Lee. So of course they put them together for the introduction to come through Jennifer. Ming Lee is an influencer, and that's all I know. We'll get to find out more about Ming Lee, I guess, as the season go on, because I don't even remember what they talked about during their lunch. So I'm thinking Ming Lee is given like not interesting, but it was the first scene, so I could be wrong. Okay. Evelyn and Brandy are chatting in the kitchen, which I was trying to figure out what kitchen it was, because now I was like, okay, y'all taking this little friendship a little too far. Like, are you in Evelyn's kitchen? But I think they're at Jackie's house because we are at the Friendsgiving. That's what I realized at this point. And so I think they're in Jackie's house, or no, Jackie lives in that building with her sister, with her daughter. So Jackie must have rented this house or something. But everybody is kind of pulling up. The first people that get there are, well, let me back it up. Evelyn and Brandy are chatting in the kitchen. They're getting stuff prepared for the Friendsgiving. Brandy brings up Jen and what they discussed at the meeting on the rooftop. Evelyn chimes in and lets her know, like, well, it's more than even that now, because Carl's cousin called me and and gave her the whole she can't get her $1,500 back from this man. Now everyone is showing up. Britt shows up. So now we have Britt, Chantel, Evelyn, and Brandy. Oh, and Jackie. No, Brandy's not there. And Jackie. So they kind of go outside while they waiting on the rest of the girls to arrive. And Chantel, of course, this is her first like group scene. So she's like, I'm kind of excited about today. She's like, I usually don't do this. And Brittany was like, me either. She's like, I usually don't hang with people I don't like. Britt, this is your problem. You came in that way last year. You just stank for no reason. And then had a nerve so she walks away. Jackie goes behind her. Jackie eggs her own, basically, and tell her, now listen, I'm using the word egg her own, but I don't think that was Jackie's intention. I think Jackie was just like, hey, you are entitled to feel how you do. Why don't you go ahead and let her know and confront her about it, instead of just sitting around being mean. And that actually is the right thing to do, because that's what I'm finna say about her. As soon as she stepped back out and she come back outside, she's ready to address Evelyn. Now let me go back to my notes really quick so I can make sure I don't miss anything. Oh, I said when Brittany got up and said, I usually don't do this either. I don't hang around people I don't like. And so she gets up and walk away. Honey, I think Evelyn was gagged. I think that's the very first time I ever seen Evelyn gagged like that, because she like, I didn't even know we had a problem. But anyway, so Britt comes back out. So now they're gonna talk. They both kind of express how they feeling. So Evelyn starts off the conversation basically telling Brittany, like, listen, I think Brittany started first, because Brittany had to let her know that it was the interview she heard, and she didn't like what she had to say. So Evelyn kind of responds and let her know, like, well, when I did the interview, it was after this certain point in which Brittany has said some not so nice things about the cast, but she included everybody, right? She generalized everybody. So Evelyn felt some type of way about it, because she was like, I thought we were good. Like, I was trying to help you out. And she was. Evelyn was doing that. I guess because maybe Britt kind of reminded her of her, because Britt got a stank ass attitude. And even before Britt started to address Evelyn, that's what I missed. I'm sorry I didn't write it down, but I had to think about it. She addressed Evelyn and she said, I have to be careful about how I use my words. I want to, please Allah. And it's just like, you didn't do that 10 minutes ago. And I get it, and she just started. So she gonna make some mistakes, which that's what she told Jackie earlier in the episode anyway. Like, I know I practice this, but like I can still bring it. Like, okay, girl, do your thing. Because I thought the point in this was change. That's what I thought. But if it's not, just let us know. Like, just let us know. Because you delusional as hell too, running around with somebody else's husband. I digress. Um, But here's the thing, Evelyn apologizes to Brittany. Like, she explains that but she said if you felt like, she doubled down. She said, "Hey, I did think that was a unprofessional, and I did think XYZ, but I didn't mean anything mean by it, and this and that." She didn't call that girl dumb as fuck. That's what I say. And so she did apologize to Brittany, and Brittany accepted it. So boom, Brittany is happy because guess what? Everybody want to be Evelyn's friend. So they only pissed off when they got in when they can't be friends with Evelyn. So she good now. She like, okay, cool. Where's the food? I'm ready to eat. Like so now it's time to eat. Brandy comes, Mingly, everybody else is joining them. And now it's time to eat. Everybody go sit down. Jackie, before they go sit down, honey, let me tell y'all about this. Jackie is a clown. They did show her with this turkey. I must have had walked away and came back in. And so I didn't rewind it because I literally thought she was putting the turkey in the oven. Clearly she was pulling this turkey out because, honey, she had them people standing around that table where she finna get ready to carve the turkey. That's what we call it. She butchered this damn turkey with some kitchen shears. Jackie is a damn fool. And I know she know better than that. But yeah, she took the kitchen shears, honey, and she trying to cut the leg off, and the stuff won't cut because this turkey looked like it's 20 minutes from being frozen. Okay. And she gonna tell all them talking about, I want y'all to taste it. So they say, well, are you gonna taste some? Cause right, this looking like a whole salmonella project right here. So are you gonna taste some? She said, I don't eat meat. Girl, if you don't get your tail out of here. Now, I can tell if the girls ate the meat or not. I know every time she cut into it, that mess did not look done. It did not look done. What I'm praying is that it was a backup turkey, that was just there for the antics she was pulling, and that there was a turkey that was actually brown, and cooked for those ladies to sit down and eat, and not just a bunch of sides. Okay. Now let's go here to the what I put mangled, but yeah, she mangled that doggone thing. And you know what it reminded me of? Scary Movie 2. Even though his deal was like with the hand, the little hand, remember the little hand, but he went in and he was talking about the stuffing. It just reminded me of that, right? Because yeah, who the hell want this turkey after you done did this to it? Like, no, thank you, ma'am. Even her daughter said, like, I'm gonna pass on the poisonous entree. So everybody sits down. Jackie opens up the table to have some issues laid out on the table, opens up the discussion to have issues laid out on the table. So that's when I realized it's really a Ponderosa dressed up like a Friendsgiving. She probably didn't want to call it Ponderosa because she knew would nobody come, especially them older ones that know about her Ponderosa. She would only have Mingly, Tai Young, and Brittany sitting there, and they don't have no problems with each other. So anyway, so like I said, she opened up the floor. Evelyn starts and she, addresses her issue with Jen. Now, what she did do was give an explanation about this recording that she know Jen heard. She kind of said, look, I don't even remember what her explanation, but somehow it was kind of like to say, like, she didn't mean any harm by it. I guess it was the same thing she just told Britt. I guess that works for her. Anyway, Jen is just like not giving an F, right? Jen responds and saying that there are a lot of things that are false, about what Evelyn was talking about and pertaining to in reference to her husband in that interview. When she said, it's a lot of things that are false, honey, Evelyn just hit the roof. Now listen, I kind of understood Evelyn hitting the roof at that because I I just went through this whole 1500. At first, I was thinking the lady might have been, just on some humbug stuff. But no, I believe her now, because after I just really thought about it in my mind, I'm like, that's exactly what the scammers do, right? They get, hundreds of people to give, 500 or 1500 so they can minimize what your loss is, and then be able to regurgitate your investment as, well, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, because that's also what Jen is at the table regurgitating to Evelyn, as Evelyn is yelling out about Carl's cousin not being able to get her $1,500 back, and she wants Jen to get her man to get that lady her $1,500 back. Now, again, it do sound so petty that we talking about $1,500, and these people running around in Rolls Royces and got Louboutins on their feet and Giuseppe sunglasses, and however, it's the principle, because, and it's not her money, it's that other lady's money. And that lady, if she gave him if Bitcoin cost you $58,000 to get one, and that lady only gave $1,500, she ain't got no money to be playing around like that. Anyway, so and then the other party is, I don't like for somebody to play in my face. So like, you're gonna say, well, a lot of that stuff is false. A lot of what is false? And just what is it that you are holding on to the false part about? Here we go with Jen and this delusion. Like, what? I would love for that to have come out. Like, what part is false? And why are you holding on to that as the answer for all of this other stuff? Because you should feel bad, but she want that lifestyle, honey. She want that lifestyle. She gonna get it by any means necessary, as we can see. But like I said, Evelyn hits the roof. She going off. Okay, Jen is oblivious to everything Evelyn is bringing up. She just sitting there like she don't even hear her. So Brandy chimes in, and she's asking Jen, like, how do you feel about what this lady is saying, what she's saying? And so Jen kind of blows her off, like, I don't care. And so she say, or no, she didn't say I don't care. She was like, I'm not interested or whatever. And so Brandy kind of words this question differently, like, well, Jen, do you care about what she's saying? And so Jen turns to Brandy and like bites her head off. And that's strange, because we've seen Jen and Malaysia argue. We've seen Jen and Jackie argue. We've seen Jen and Evelyn argue. We've seen Jen be in conflict, but I've never seen Jen be snappy. And she snapped at Brandy right then. She said, I don't care how many times you ask me the question. I'm not talking about this. So that lets you know Jen is up to here, right? At this moment, I started to realize that there could be a lot of uncertainty where Jen is concerned. But again, that's Jen's fault, because when that man had to take his tail to jail for 15 days, that just should have been a sign for you to pause this and for you to wait a little longer and get to know this person a little bit better. So everything that come after that is just your consequence for not paying attention, because it's not even being smart. It's just you're not paying attention. And I cannot stress this enough. You're too old for that. Listen, 40 and up ladies, we too old for these games, honey. We done been through too much. I told my cousin this, and I'm gonna tell y'all. We in the second part of our lives. We in the second act. We are not repeating those mistakes in that first act. Okay, ladies, get it together. Now make sure you subscribe to this channel while you at it, okay? And hit the bell notification and like this video. Now let me tell y'all something. When you subscribe and when you like the video, and even when you share it, it does help my channel. And of course, I appreciate it. But what it also does is help introduce you to other people who have content similar to this, so you can find some other content creators, and maybe some other topics and some other shows, okay? Let's get back into this dinner, though. So, like I say, I at that moment, I realized Jen is probably dealing with a lot of uncertainty herself. And so this is probably like intensifying. Now, let me back up and go back to that meeting Jen had on the rooftop with Brandy. Jen made a very good point. And again, this is the issue that Evelyn doesn't want to acknowledge. But what she said is like, listen, if you got all this information, like you could call me on the phone with it, right? You don't have to go on the internet and have this interview and blast this like that. I'm your friend. I'm a good or ex good friend, ex best friend, but we still supposed to be friends. You can call me. I agree with Jen on that. This is messy, and I don't get why Evelyn doesn't see it being messy, and I don't get why Evelyn did not. Once she did that, I don't know why she did not foresee the fact that that Jen is not going to want to speak to you again. Because she is marrying this man. Duh. Just like, you know what? It reminds me of Evelyn when it came to Chad. Like, I feel like everybody was telling her, like, put the brakes on Chad. And she was going full force. And where was Jen? In the passenger seat, or in what's the little car? You know how you had those cars and it's got the little bucket on the side? That's where Jen was at. She was on the little side, the side car, cheering Evelyn on. Okay. And so Evelyn, you need to do that for your friend. Again, is the optics look crazy, and where there's smoke, there's fire. This man is scamming people. But listen, the feds got him. Everything gonna come out, and Jen gonna have to deal with the backlash. That's it. You see this stuff in your face, Jen. You ignoring it because everything is not true. It would be the parts that are true that's a problem for me, not the stuff that's not. Anyhow. Evelyn also says that, so she goes in and says, like, it's not just, that she's like, I'm concerned for Jen. Like, this looks bad for Jen. People, so now she kind of regurgitates Carl's cousin's sentiments about being able to see them ride around and have this luxury lifestyle. And yet, like, this person is sitting here without their money. Jen is done with it. She gets up from the table because she is ready to go. That's better. That's better. Her best bet about what she should do if she's not here for the antics, and she's not going to discuss it with Evelyn. And I guess this is the other problem too. There's not a whole lot for Jen to discuss in that case, only because it's not her. So and I said this back in my Love and Marriage Huntsville videos when it comes to Tisha and Marcel or any married couple. I'm gonna go ahead and say, give Jen this. Trust your husband, fine. You know what I mean? I don't have a problem with that. I think if you get married, you should be able to trust your husband, and you should feel like you trust him. Well, even if somebody's telling you not to, you should feel like you can. And I don't have a problem with that. But again, I feel like the stop sign was already presented for you, girl. I don't even know where I was going with that. I be trying to save Jen. I be trying, but it ain't looking good. So this is where Jackie chimes in after Jen gets up from the table and leaves. Jackie chimes in and tell Evelyn, like, like, what does she want from her, really? Because she, like, basically, like, do you care about her? Do you love her? Like, that's your friend, right? Basically, what I'm saying, this is where we see Jackie actually has some sense. And in her being older than everybody, being able to come in and offer some maturity. You know what I'm saying? In this situation, which we very rarely ever see that from Jackie. She act like she younger than them sometimes, but I think that's right. That's just what I was saying about which type of friend are you. And so, like she told her, she's like, because at the end of the day, she's going to choose her man, her husband, because that's not even her man, that's her husband now. And 100% right. She's going to choose him. Right, wrong, indifferent. She married to that man. And I guess because there would be a problem if you didn't choose him and you married to him and y'all just got married 3 weeks, a month ago, whatever it is. So that would be a problem. You got to go and stick with this man and ride this till the wheels fall off, honey. Put them blinders on and hold on for dear life. So Jen, now the next thing, which is the scene that closes out the show, Jen is going to pick up her felon, honey. I'm sorry, her husband. And he gets in the car, they hug and do their pleasantries because they ain't seen each other since the wedding in 2 weeks, okay? And Jen, of course, has to download Christian on what happened at the Friendsgiving and what Evelyn has been saying about him and this lady and this $1,500. Now, she also chimed in to say, and then Evelyn said, like, that you can't trade if you're a felon. And so this is where he lost me again, because you, Christian, gonna pull the, well, if a felon can't trade, why can the felon be the president? Stop right there. That meant everything these people are saying he did it. That just came out your mouth, because, honey, that sentence you just said has only been a true statement for the last 6 months. Oh, excuse me, 5 months, barely 4 months. That's not something that's always been in your brain. So the fact that you leaning in on that lets me know, honey, yeah, you ain't about to right, and everything you doing ain't about to right. And everything these people saying about you, you did. Everything they saying, you did. Look what Evelyn say. The people who, she say, you don't care about him scamming people, the elderly people or something. And Jen say, I don't even know that lady. It was like, oh God. You ain't got to know the people to scam them, Jen. Come on, Jen. Jen about to have, and that's gonna be so sad. Oh my God. So, okay, let me go back to this last scene. So yeah, like I say, he pulled that little then the president shouldn't be allowed to be a felon card. And that's the last note that I have on that. Really, because that's the last scene. And maybe I just tuned out for whatever else they was talking about after that. Because I can't play with the games. Like, boy, you did it. You a scammer. But this is in that car ride. Jen looked uneasy. She looked like she doesn't know, right? And sad for Jen. I wish she would have listened to her gut, because I'm almost certain that before they went to Paris and actually got married, I'm sure something in the pit of her stomach kind of said, like, is this right? But she just went through it with it anyway. And now she's here. And this is the thing that popped in my head. I'm also wondering if she's like just holding out and not wanting to feed in and not wanting to listen to any of these things that Evelyn or the feds have said about her husband. It's because maybe somehow he didn't got her tail wrapped up in it. And so now she really is unsure, because she might be wrapped up in some type of way of trusting him. We're gonna hope that's not it. But this is what I'm gonna say. Jen not smart enough for it not to be. And the way she locked in, holding on. Like I said, if you get married to somebody, I guess you should be locked in. Nobody should be able to come in between, especially in your first month, 3 months, or whatever. Nobody should be able to come in between that and basically tell you your man ain't shit. But if you got that inclination before you actually marry him, then it's your fault. The marriage in Paris was not a legal marriage. Oh, now thank you for letting me know about that, because in the previews, they do show that they are going to have a wedding in Paris, and I was confused, because I'm thinking it seemed like ain't nobody fooling with Christian, so I'm not thinking that's part like a cast trip. I'm not. And then when I read the synopsis for the episode, it said that Brandy was planning a trip for Evelyn's birthday. So at the same time that Jen and Christian was doing their marriage in Vegas. Okay, now see, but you want to know something? This kind of makes it worse. This really makes it worse for Jen and her thinking ability. And I don't even like doing this, but Is it anything up there for Jen? Like, that makes it worse for me because he violated his probation to go to Paris and plan this Paris wedding. Y'all went to court and did, and on that probation violation, he's sentenced to 15 days. But y'all asked the court for permission to go to Paris so you could get married. How did you do all of that and go through that and it's not legal? And that's what and just like I said at the top of the show, with all of that going on, girl, you could have just went to the courthouse and married the man for this. Like, because it makes no sense why you had your tail in Paris outside of the fact that you are addicted to this lifestyle and that man is about to drag you through the mud. You thought that man who took off with your car did you wrong, honey. This man might have your in jail serving time. You just better call up Teresa Giudice. You better call Teresa Giudice. Now, I can't tell you to call the rest of them. Like, I can't tell you to call Jen Shaw because Jen Shaw was running her own scam. But you better call Teresa Giudice because Teresa Giudice, I absolutely 1000% believe she didn't know a doggone thing that was going on. She just signed in here, signed in there. Why? Because Joe was giving her the house, getting the furniture she wanted, getting all of this stuff. And Teresa was all into all of it. Same as Jen. Jen is addicted to this lifestyle. She feel like she found her, not just a man, but a young man, because man probably, giving it to her for real. So now you found this young man in his late 30s, right? That seems to be able to keep up with you. So that probably gave you some form of release because you don't have to, you feel like you got to do a former athlete, right? Because when you're thinking about somebody who is in the same financial status as you don't have to do another athlete. She did try with Tim, who was an entrepreneur in his own way, but he also ended up in jail as a convicted murder for hire, right? He hired the person to kill his own nephew, to unalive his own nephew. And Jen dated this man again. Well, now listen, none of us knew that Tim had did that until we knew. And none of us even thought about Tim had did that before we knew. But this is what we do know about Tim Norman. And I hate that I'm doing this, y'all. I hate that I'm putting this stereotype. We know that man spent almost 20 years up in that prison. That's what we do know about him. And we know that Jen seems to hold herself to a higher standard. And this go back to what I'm saying about how low self-esteem sometimes show up in the decisions that you're making, because how high of a standard do you have when you're willing to entertain people with these types of past or dealings going on? And that, like, again, everybody needs love. Everybody needs reform. So I'm not saying that just because somebody made a mistake and has a past means that you have to disregard them. Of course, that would be absurd. Many of us have certain things that we don't want anybody to know, that we don't even want to, speak out loud, possibly. And if it wasn't for having grace and being able to, reform that, you can't be where you are today. But I'm just saying with Jen, I just wish she put her thinking cap on. Cause she, it ain't what we say, the elevator is moving, but it don't go to the top floor. And so she need her thinking cap. And she might need the bifocals, like the go-go gadget eyes. Yeah, she might need that too, so she can see a little better. We're gonna say a prayer for Jen. But I feel like Jen is okay as long as she able to get her Christian Dior and she plane hopping over to Paris and London and wherever it is she like to be. And as long as he's saying all is well and ain't nobody came and took the man to jail yet, I think she's perfectly fine, perfectly happy. And that's kind of sad. So we're gonna say a prayer for Miss Jen Gold, honey. But that's it for this episode of Basketball Wives. I was about to say Housewives, y'all. Sorry. But that's it for this episode of Basketball Wives. Ming Lee was like a fly on the wall. So was Ty. But from the previews of what's supposed to happen this season, I guess we'll see a little bit more of them. It looks like Brandy might be taking a page out of Kyle's book and, maybe exploring being, girl on girl, because she tells Ty about how attractive she is. And the way she said it, it sounded like, what did she say? Like, oh, the people was right. It sounded like something that people had said to her before, like as if she was kind of like, well, what's the deal with Ty? Like, why everybody like Ty? And like somebody said, like, oh, because she's really, really attractive or something. I don't know. Maybe she gives off a masculine energy that people like. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But it do look like she about to try to go dip in those waters because again, Ty is on there and she's single. But anyway, Ming Lee is a fly on the wall. I guess we'll see more about her during the season. I can't say I'm interested. I really don't know her anything about her at all. Um, so I guess we'll just see what she gives. I don't really care, excuse me, for Brittany. And that's only because listen, when I'm watching TV, I've been watching reality TV for a very long time. And when I'm watching reality TV, unless I'm watching a show and the premise is for you to be somewhere finding yourself, that's what Brittany needs to be. Because I was gonna say, like, what's the BET show, College Hill? See, like College Hill, the premise in for me is like you come in there, like, yeah, you taking classes and you want to complete college, but I think it's set up in this way of how you kind of like are navigating to find yourself, like in a sense, so you can complete these classes and stuff with the activities and things that they have to do. That's where Brittany needs to be. She needs to take her tail over there to College Hill. College Hill people, BET, come get your girl. She can get off of Basketball Wives. But let me know, drop down in the comments. Let me know if you are excited for this season. If you got any predictions. It feels like, do we see Evelyn and Brandy kind of go back and fall out? I can't remember. I cannot remember. But what we do see is Jackie and Chantel. Not Shani O'Neal. I like saying Shani. I think that's the way she says Shani. I like the way she say her name. But we do see them get into a fight. And like as a mom, I'm just gonna say I think that Shani is out of line. I know Jackie is overbearing. I know she is controlling, as Chantel has, depicted. And I know Chantel is eager to have boundaries that her mother respects. But and that's all fine, because I'm not saying that those are not things that she shouldn't expect from her mom. But the way she talked about her mom, to the like how she told Jen she didn't have no respect for her as a mother, it's kind of like as if you could see, like, this is my protective nature, and then like a mama bear. Like I can be a mama bear for other mamas too. And it's like she said, I don't respect her as a mother. As if you could. You barely a mother yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like Chantel, have several seats. And like I said, I can imagine Jackie didn't do it right because she was running all over the country with her husband, making sure her husband didn't cheat on her. She was planning a wedding every year. So yeah, it doesn't sound like she was giving a whole lot of time to her children. And if she did, honey, like, which might have been why she's so controlling, because she might have had house managers and nannies. And so she might have been the person, micromanaging every single thing while she was not there. And I can understand her daughter being upset, kind of saying, like, well, you don't get to have that authority, right? Because you wasn't here and maybe you didn't earn it. I can understand her feeling that way. But this is what I'm going to say, Chantel. This is a message to you. Girl, keep living and find some grace, because I think that there's going to come a time in your parenting journey where you're going to want your children to offer you some grace. So I think you should start now by giving your mother some grace. Okay. That's my message to Chantel. So y'all go ahead, pass it around, clip it, and send it to her. Now don't get on here cussing me out, Chantel, because I don't play those games. But that's just like I said, from a woman to woman, and from one mom, to a daughter, and a daughter. Like I'm a daughter too. So I get it, but yeah, I don't respect you as a mother. As if you could. Like you don't even have enough in you to respect somebody, to respect your mother as a mother. You better focus on respecting your own damn self as a mother. That's what you need to focus on, Chantel. That shit pissed me off to hear her say that to Jennifer about her mom. That shit pissed me off. For real. Who are you? You are barely alive out here in these streets. I'm talking about what you don't respect. These kids, you know what? Happy Mother's Day again. Happy early Mother's Day. But this is what I'm going to say. These kids done lost their damn man today. These kids done lost their man today. That's another video for another time. And maybe I might do it tomorrow. It's my youngest son's birthday is tomorrow. He will be 20 years old. And we're probably gonna sit around the house, do nothing spectacular. He said he didn't want to do anything. We're a little broke around these parts. We catching up on stuff. So listen, subscribe to this channel and get these hours up, okay? But that's about it. So maybe I will pop on and go live tomorrow, and maybe we'll just discuss some of these kids, honey. What are they? Gen Z, Gen X? I don't, honey. Right? Did them people go up to space and go get these damn eggs and shoot them in through our ear or something? Because where did these kids come from? These are not the same kids. These are not the same kids. These kids are something different, something terrible, and entitled, honey. Anyway, so thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. Again, drop down in the comments. Let me know what you thought about Basketball Wives. I do like to rate the episodes when we do housewife reviews. So I will do that here also. Let me know 1 through 10 what you would rate this week's episodes, first episode of season 12. And listen, the first episode of new seasons usually kind of move a little slow because we really just are getting reacclimated with any of the previous cast members and being introduced to new cast members. So like Ming Lee, like I said, she was a fly on the wall on this episode, but maybe that changes as the episodes go on. So we'll see. Fingers are crossed for Ming Lee. I think my rate would be about a 6. And that's just it's a coast, right? It wasn't all that great. And it wasn't horrible. It was just a coast. And we're okay with coasting for the first episode. I think that's okay. All right, y'all. So I'm finna head up out of here. Again, thank you for joining me. If you have not subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe. If you have subscribed, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Like this video and hit the bell notification so you can be notified when another video is uploaded or when I go live. Because sometimes I might go live impromptu like this live. All right. Have a happy Mother's Day. Have a good Saturday and enjoy your time with your family.